Hey everybody, welcome back to Be Like Christ. Do you see that bird right there? You know, that bird wants more than anything to get through that window. My line of work is in business, and the other day I was at the office in a conference room, and it has big glass windows out front. There's a tree that is right outside the window, and there was a cardinal. And this cardinal was sitting in the tree right outside the window, and he continually kept running into the window, trying to get through. Just like I'm not the smartest guy ever, this bird was definitely not the smartest bird ever, because it did this dozens and dozens of times. I was working on my computer and this projector, and over and over again I heard thump, 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 as this bird flew out of the tree and ran into the window. What a bird brain. This bird wanted inside that conference room more than anything. He spent hours trying to get through that window, and he never succeeded. And the truth is that birds don't belong in a conference room. That wouldn't have been a safe place or a good place for him to be. And a thought eventually came to my mind. It was based off some experiences I had as a child. We used to feed birds and put bird seed out on a feeder outside of our kitchen window. And every once in a while, we would have a bird think that it could fly right through that window, and it would bang in really hard and sometimes break its neck and kill itself, or it would be injured because it hit that window so hard. And while my initial thoughts were, well, I'm just going to let this cardinal do its thing, my mentality shifted when I remembered that, because I didn't want this cardinal to get hurt. And so I actually got up from my chair and I scared it away from the window. I didn't think much of that at first, but then I sat down and I began to think about it, and I realized that sometimes that's exactly what God needs to do to us. More than anything, that bird wanted into the conference room, but it's because he really didn't understand what was on the other side. There was nothing good for him there. And yet, he was convinced that that's what he needed. As human beings, we're often like that. We are determined that we are going to find happiness by achieving something or accomplishing something or getting something that we want. And the truth is, a lot of times that's not true, and God knows it, because we have a habit of pursuing bad things, sinful things, things that maybe bring us pleasure for a moment or get us to a place where we feel like we will have accomplished what we wanted, but in the end, in this life and in the next life, are often bad for us. And even though it's hard for us to see in the present moment, we really need to be thankful in God's providence and thank Him for not opening some windows for us to fly through. And what's more is that God may even need to scare us away from certain things that we are relentless in pursuing. Maybe one of the best things that could happen to us is that God could scare us away in one way or another from a lifestyle that may be harmful for us, could ruin us in the long run, or could cause us to spend extraordinary amounts of time in waste, never to achieve the contentment that we seek. Now, those things are very hard to see in the present moment. And just like that cardinal, I imagine he had no idea why I got up and scared him away from the thing that he wanted most. But sometimes in hindsight, we can see those things, and we ought to give thanks to God for not opening that window. And I think that will be one of the most beautiful things in eternity if God will show us. Not only for Him to show us the windows that He opened to present opportunities to us, but also as a display of His consistent love and care for us, even sometimes unknown, is if He would show us all of the windows that He never opened or that He closed to prevent us from going down a wrong direction. And I think if we could see all of those, we would realize exponentially more how great our faithful and loving God is, who has cared for us every step of the way. Thanks again for watching the video. If you know anybody who may be frustrated because a window hasn't been opened, share this video with them and let them trust in the sovereignty and the providence of God's good design, who works everything out for the good of those who love Him. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments down below if you have any additions or you have any experiences like this where you can look back at your own life and notice how good God has been to you. Hit that like button as well, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.